Broadcasting from the Professional Fantasy Football League studios in Marina Del Rey, California, I'm your host, John Hampton. This is PFFL Live. Thank you for joining us in Week 3 for the Saturday breaking news edition of PFFL Live. I'm John Hampton. Today we'll take a look at news from around the league and injury updates heading into Sunday.
Breaking news.
By talking about a few of the major headlines this week around the NFL, starting with these obnoxious referees. There is no end in sight. The NFL met with the locked out officials several times this week, and reports say that there are still significant and serious fiscal gaps standing in the way of making a deal. Well, that sucks. Hopefully the NFL will at least crack down on these replacement scabs so we can have some good goddamn football. Anyways, moving on, I'm sure you guys have heard about Michael Turner, right? In case you didn't, this big meathead got loaded after his weak performance Monday night and was arrested for DUI. I mean, I can't blame him that much. Yes, they won, but yet again, he went out on the field looking fat, sluggish, and unproductive. It doesn't look like his off-field activity will affect his play status this week. However, I think it's time to bench this guy. I mean, he really hasn't been a playmaker in a while, and you've got Jitterbug, Jaquez Rodgers, on the roster, raring to go. I predict this will be his breakout week. That's the major news around the league right now. Let's take a quick glance at what happened on Thursday night's game with the Giants and Panthers. Cam and the Pussycats looked awful in this matchup against Eli and his Giants. Andre Brown. Man, does this guy look good. Everyone thought David Wilson was the guy, but I think you can kiss that thought goodbye if Brown doesn't get hurt or slowed down. He looked like a stud Thursday. Martellus Bennett also proved to be a great free agent ad as he put up solid numbers. Other than that, no Panthers put up very good numbers, and the Giants absolutely dominated them defensively. Okay, that's enough of that. Let's move on to our
PFFL injury update.
And yes, there are a lot of injuries this week. I'm going to list them off, starting with the least likely to play on down to the guys who should see the field. Matt Forte has officially been ruled out this week. Look for Michael Bush to punish the weak Rams defense. If you heard our Thursday show, you know how much I like this matchup. Next, we have Aaron Hernandez, who is also ruled out for the Patriots game against Baltimore. Maybe with him out, they'll start looking more in Welker's direction, but still a tough matchup after a poor week against the Cardinals. Moving on, Steven Jackson is listed as questionable. He didn't practice all week, and he left the game after a so-called injury, which included him spiking the ball for a penalty. I don't like his odds. Pick up Darrell Richardson, who seems like he'll take the reins. Over to the Eagles, we have Jeremy Maclin, also listed as questionable against Arizona. He was limited Friday and had a light practice week. He could definitely go, but I would check right before the game just to be safe. How about Marquez Colston? Questionable again, and now Devery Henderson re-enters the mix. Colston was limited Friday and could play against a soft Chiefs matchup, but man, this guy is frustrating to own in fantasy. Pierre Garçon is also shook up and still listed as questionable. He sat out practice Thursday, so the outlook is cloudy. Be sure to check in before the game on this one. We also have Greg Jennings listed as questionable. Limited on Friday practice after sitting out last week, he has until Monday against Seattle. But don't get stuck with him on your lineup post-Sunday if you don't have another option, or you could wind up posting a goose egg. Jones is listed as questionable. He was limited Thursday, but you should see him in the field versus San Diego. It looks like Ryan Matthews will make his debut Sunday after looking good in practice all week. Set your expectations accordingly, though, with this stout Falcons defense. Also, thankfully, Jamal Charles didn't re-injure his surgically repaired knee and was in practice all week, listed as probable. I would still check game time, but he should be a go against a reeling Saints defense. And finally, Antonio Gates, listed as probable, looking good in practice, but keep an eye out. This guy is notorious for last-minute sits. That's it for injuries, and that's it for the Saturday edition of PFFL Live. I'm John Hampton. You can reach me on my Twitter at RealJohnHampton. I also want to remind you folks to head to our PFFL Facebook page for the Sunday Photo Smackdown. Send in your Smack Talk photo with the hashtag BeatYou as the comment, and you'll have a chance of winning a drafted Tier 3 team from the PFFL. For more news, updates, and Smack Talk, visit us at thepffl.com. That's the-pffl.com.
This has been a presentation of the PFFL.